Hey everybody, it's Brickwaffle here, and we are going to start a new mini-series today. I hope you're excited. I know I'm excited, and this is going to be really cool. We're on a super flat world, you can probably tell, and this weird green checkerboard underneath me is actually green wool. I'm using the Mumbo Modified Faithful texture pack right now. The reason for that is I don't want anything to spawn here. I can set it to peaceful, that stops the mobs and the slimes, but I don't even want farm animals to spawn. No pigs, no cows, no horses, nothing. And so if you have grass, they'll spawn on that. If you have wool, they won't. So we've just generated a wool-topped super flat world, and underneath here we've got, I don't know, I think it's like 8 blocks of dirt or so, and then we eventually get down to bedrock. So if we want to do a little digging, we can do that. Let's go ahead and put these back, and that back. Okay, great. So what we're going to do with this mini-series is we're going to actually build some ruins. And by ruins, I don't necessarily mean actual ruined buildings. I mean little mini-structures that you might want to generate in the world. So if you're doing this in vanilla, and by the way, I am going to be doing this in vanilla, no mods here. You can just follow along, build whatever you want. If you want to use this with a mod like Ruined Structure Spawning System, you can certainly do that as well. And that's actually what I'm going to do when I'm done with all of these ruins. I'm going to export them all, and I'm going to drop them into the Ruined Structure Spawning mod for our Waffle Mods world. So hopefully this will help those of you that like the modded series get some ideas for how to use that, and those of you that just want vanilla, this is going to be just built in vanilla. So let me know what you think about that down in the comments. One thing I will say is those of you that are following along in vanilla, I'm going to do one thing that is only required for the mod, which is I'm going to build a base plate for all of my ruins out of a block that I don't want to be part of the structure. So I'm going to have everything on this really ugly granite, and that way, when I convert this into the mods later, it will just take everything except for the granite. And that's just, you don't have to do that if you're just building these in vanilla. Obviously, you can build whatever you want. Of course, you can always change the blocks around entirely. But that way, in case I want to just export these later on, I don't have to come back in here and add granite underneath everything, which would be kind of a pain with a super flat world. Alright, so once we have our base plate in here, and again in vanilla you can ignore that, what we want to do is think about what kind of things we would like to generate in the world. Now we could do weird stuff like just a random stack of sponges that would show up in the world if we're using this in mods. That's kind of weird anyway, and if you're doing this in vanilla, you're not going to just build a random structure of sponges, so we kind of want to avoid that. We want things that look like someone came along and built something and abandoned it. So when you're going through the world, it feels a little bit more alive, like a real place. Now we could just cheat and give ourselves a bunch of diamond ore. That seems kind of silly if you're going to do that. Why build things that look realistic anyway? We could do some things that use materials that aren't necessarily hard to get, like glowstone, but that don't normally generate in the overworld. That could look interesting. Like there's leftovers from some race that built structures a long time ago. Obviously stone bricks and all that stuff would be good too. Mycelium could be interesting, especially if it's in a dirt area. It could spread on its own. And let's keep that because that seems like an interesting idea. And maybe we want some of the weird colored clays that kind of go along with that as well. We can also use prismarine if we didn't want to have to just find ocean monuments to get a few prismarine bricks here and there. Raw prismarine and maybe a sea lantern or two could be interesting. And then other things like red sandstone and hay bales and whatnot, we can play around with that a little bit as well. So let's start out with some mycelium. So one thing that we might want to find, and this would generate, if I didn't have the granite here, imagine that this was flush with the ground. This would generate right on top of the ground. It's a big chunk of mycelium. So we're going to do that. And just kind of an odd, I don't want it to be too perfectly aligned. I want it to be kind of an unusual shape. And if this does generate in an area that's surrounded by dirt and not grass, this would spread. But otherwise, it's just going to be little chunks of mycelium, and we should probably add some other things around here. Maybe we want to add some clay near this. Like somebody had tried to make this a little bit more uniform by adding in, oops, some of that stuff. Or that it used to be all just normal blue clay, and it started to get fungusy and overrun with mold and that sort of stuff. That could be cool. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's not bad, actually. And then we want some magenta stained clay as well. Let's see if we can... There used to be some kind of pattern in the middle of this, maybe. Like here, and here, and there. Used to be some kind of other colors inside of that. Now we could actually build up a little bit more like this, like there were some actual walls here. Let's get rid of that. That's probably okay. Yeah, I think that'll be alright. And then let's also throw in some mushrooms. So if we do some mushrooms, we can throw in some red ones and some little ones like that. Let's see, get a mushroom over there, and one right here on the edge. And then let's see about doing, let's see, mushroom. You can't actually get those in creative. I could give myself with a command block some of the taller mushroom structures, although Is that something you can do with bone meal on the mycelium? I don't remember. Let's check that out real quick. See if this actually works. It does. Excellent. So we'll do one over here. Can we get one to grow, or is it too close to the other white one? It's probably too close to the brown mushroom. Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what we want, actually. Let's do that, and we'll just do a couple of these in the shade here. So you can come and get a bunch of brown mushroom and some red mushrooms. That's actually it. I think we're just going to call that good. It's going to just be a little random structure that might have once been a thing, and now it's not. Now it's just mycelium. And the nice thing is, mushrooms will grow in any light level on mycelium. So these are just going to randomly show up in the world. And actually, now that I've done that, I really don't like how regular that is either. Let's take some of the edges off of this. And let's do mycelium under there as well. And that way, yeah, that looks a little bit better. So it's just kind of a broken little chunk. And that should generate in the world, whether you're using the mods, or if you want to do this in vanilla, little patches like this could look neat. You go out and build something like that every now and then, and have little patches of this. Okay, so the other thing we wanted to do was with the prismarine and sea lanterns. And again, this isn't going to be very big. We're going to do several of these. And I'm going to probably do, I don't know how many episodes of this. We're going to do a bunch, because I want to have a bunch of different ruins. And I don't want to do them all in one video, because that would just be, if you wanted to go back and look at these later, that would be kind of a pain. And also, it's going to get pretty long, even if these are fairly quick to build, if every single one of these is just, you know, here's 18 different little ruins. Okay, that's starting to look a little too tall. Let's come up a little bit. Let's throw a sea lantern in here. There we go. And let's do, yeah, I want it to just kind of be at the top, so it lights up a little bit like that. Let's do this way. How's that look? Let's just fly up. It doesn't have to be perfectly uniform. I think that's actually pretty good. And what we could do even is put, like as a little bonus, let's put a sponge under here. And in the bottom. And then if you are using this with the Ruins mod, then every now and then you'll be able to find some sponges out in the world without having to go to an ocean monument, which is really good if you're using 1.7 and you don't have ocean monuments. So stuff like that will give you a good source of prismarine and a few sea lanterns. I think that's going to work out pretty well. It's not quite uniform, which I like, and it shouldn't be a big deal to generate that out later on. And again, same thing in your world. If you're playing in a vanilla world and you find an ocean monument, and you've got a bunch of these, you don't know what to do with them, just go stick a bunch of these little nodes like this and randomize them a little bit. Don't make every single one of them exactly the same. Stick them around, especially near the coast, so it looks like big chunks of the old ruined ocean monument just kind of washed up on shore. That's really what we want to go for. Okay, so there's a couple of really easy ones. Let's try something a little bit bigger now. And we're going to probably just do a fairly short episode this time to get the idea, see what you guys think of this series. So if you do like this series, please let me know in the comments section. Let me know ideas of other things you'd like to see randomly built. We can do intact structures like whole houses and things that would generate in the world with the mods, or just things that you guys might want to build in vanilla and have those be a part of the series as well. Really, it's just ideas of things that you want in your world that you might stumble across if you were exploring. That's really the theme we want to go with here. So this one's going to be, like I said, a little bit bigger, and we'll put all that stuff out with granite. And then, what are we going to build on this one? I like the idea of building something out of wood. Let's use some spruce wood and maybe some oak wood. And, you know what would be really cool is a little archway, like it used to be going into a mine shaft, and that's just gone now. So let's start with some stone, kind of in a sort of, yeah, let's not a little bit natural, but not too forced here. Let's just come around like that. And just come back this way. So what we want to do is have a kind of a cave opening. And that's going to be good for now, I think. And so then what we want here is, we probably need this to come up some. And then in. Let's take that out. And then, I apologize if you can hear my cat in the background. She always wants to be on YouTube. And she's decided to play with her toys right now, which she always gets mouthy when she plays with her toys. Likes to let everybody know what's going on. But what we want this to do is kind of come up a bit like that, and it's going to be a kind of a mine shaft entrance, really. So we want this to look like at some point somebody had built some kind of mine and then didn't ever finish it, or it was abandoned, and now we're coming back and discovering that. So when you find abandoned mine shafts in vanilla Minecraft, they already look kind of interesting, but one thing you don't ever see is a mine shaft entrance from the surface. So this won't obviously connect to that, but if you ever did find a mine shaft in your world and you wanted to build a little entrance for it, you certainly could. So that's going to look alright. And then what we want to do is make it look like this has been worked a bit. So one thing that people do when they open up a mine shaft is they, let's take that out, they put up some framing. Let's do that here. And then we're going to come across like this. Real basic, just spruce wood. And yeah, that's going to be all right. And then what would normally happen is that kind of be holding back the top of this thing. So maybe that comes up a little bit as well, and it starts to come up over the edge. So it looks like they kind of braced the opening. Now obviously that looks all pretty uniform stone, and it doesn't look perfect, so we want to break that up a little bit. We'll do that here in a second. But so far I'm liking the shape of this. And we can always change this around later. So let's go and let's go ahead and break that up a bit. We want some andesite. And actually, you know what? Let's not use andesite in case somebody wants to do this in 1.7. Let's just use cobblestone here. Because somebody, when they were digging this out, they might have broken a few things and put in some cobblestone here and there. They're assuming they were tunneling. So there's a couple pieces. Let's put one up here. And maybe there's one or two down there as well. And this guy. Okay, so when you're mining, you would normally see some kind of broken up textures like that. Let's see, what else can we do? We probably don't want coal or any kind of ore up here, because if they're digging out the mine, that's the first thing they're going to go for, right? They're going to take all the valuable stuff. You are going to want some rails. We're going to want regular rails. We'll keep those on the hotbar. Might want a crafting table. And probably some torches. They probably lit the place up a little bit. And maybe some fence posts. And let's get some stone, not the monster eggs. Let's get some stone bricks, some mossy stone bricks, and some cracked stone bricks. So what happens if, when they were doing this, they actually decided to build a little bit nicer frame at the beginning? So we're going to have some cracked bricks there. We're going to take that out. Some mossy ones there. Maybe a couple of these managed to stay intact up at the top here. One there stay intact, and let's put another mossy one like that. So they started to carve this out to make it look like it was going to be a thing. Over here they probably would have carved that out too, or at least shaved that back some. Maybe there's some gravel on here. That would have been pretty good, right? Gravel. Over time this kind of just broke up. And then, yeah, I like that one. Let's actually have one fall off the side here. One down there. That looks pretty decent. Maybe some back here next to this stuff, and one over here in the corner. And that's starting to look like a kind of a ruined structure, right? So we're going to come back in here. We're going to throw some gravel down that way and that way, so that we kind of have a rough, even tunnel. I'm going to take that out and put that gravel as well. And I think that's going to be pretty good. So let's say they had a torch up on the sides here. Let's do one here and here. It's just a little bit of light. And then we're going to want a rail that goes down that way and just dead ends, like it used to go down further. And then we want a crafting table. Who doesn't have a crafting table at the entrance? So let's put one right there. Whenever I do a mine shaft in vanilla, I try to have a crafting table nearby. And maybe we want some fence posts here as well. And actually that could be a really good decoration for the top of this. It's a little low, but I think that'll work all right. The other thing we could do is, fence posts on the outside to help kind of frame that up. And maybe what we do is just come down the sides on either end there. Yeah, that's looking pretty decent. I'm not real thrilled with the top of this though. Let's see about slabs. What kind of slabs would make sense there? Probably cobblestone slabs, so it looks like it's just not really intentionally designed that way. We'll just do a half one there. Okay, yeah, that's looking better. What do you guys think? Hopefully that looks pretty good. I think that'd be neat. So every now and then in your world, you're going to find one of these. This is going to go back on whatever surface it generates on. So if it's in sand, it'll generate on, or if it's in the desert, it'll generate on sand. If you're on a mesa, it will generate on clay. And hopefully that won't look too out of place anywhere you go. We could also potentially replace all of that with stone as well, but I really want this to generate flush with the terrain. So I think that's going to be our best bet. Cool. So that's 3 little ruins very quickly. Alright, so we're going to come back with a little bit more. And let's do one more little ruin structure for today. And let's go to the opposite side of our mushroom over here. And let's come back, maybe this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many blocks we're going to go back here. And what I want to do is generate a little hut. And I'm careful not to generate anything that has too much loot in it. We don't want, if you're actually using this with a mod, we don't want these to generate with diamond blocks or anything like that so that people randomly just discover those and get extra resources. Although I suppose if you wanted to, you could just do that and give people a reason to go exploring. But it's Minecraft, you really don't need a reason to explore yet. I mean, if you don't like exploring in Minecraft, you're probably not playing it for very long. You're probably not watching this video. Alright, so let's build some kind of little basic hut. Oak wood, that's pretty easy, very common. And we're probably going to need some kind of slabs. Let's get some of those slabs. Maybe we want some brick. We know. maybe if you're partial to brick. I don't know anybody on this channel that would be partial to bricks. Let's just start with that. Okay, so we want some kind of basic thing here. We're going to do a floor. And then what we're going to do, we'll just build this like a little hut, and then we can change up the dimensions. We can break a few things if we want it to look ruined. Just like that, actually. I think that's going to be good. A little tiny house. And then we're going to want some kind of, we just did spruce. Let's do oak wood logs in the corners. And let's go up 5 on that. So inside it'll be 3 tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to look pretty decent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, liking that. And then what we want to do, we could do more of those out here. We could do a different thing like spruce wood. Let's try some spruce wood. I think that's going to be good. And if we decide that we need this to be bigger, the base plate, we can always change that around. Yeah, I like that. So it's going to look kind of dark out here with a nice light floor inside. So we're going to come up on each of these corners on the inside with spruce wood as well. And this wouldn't be a bad starting house either. If you were just building some vanilla and you just wanted a little structure, this would probably work. It's going to be very basic, but I think it'll be all right. And then we're probably going to just come across at the top and bottom of each of these as well. So it's a very basic salt box house. Kind of typical thing you find in Minecraft. Again, if these are just supposed to be decoration in your world, you don't want them to be fabulous houses that people are going to assume that another player built and is living in. You're going to want it to look like, okay, somebody came along, they built a very basic, simple house, and then they left. They abandoned it. They got run out by creepers, something like that. So what this is going to be, though, this is even, and so it's 4 on each side. I'm going to extend it by 1. Let's extend it. Let's actually contract it by 1 instead. So I'm going to take this back out and put this up here. And the reason for that is that way we can put a door in right there. So we're going to take this guy out entirely. And we're going to replace this whole bottom structure. Okay, so that guy, oops, there. Let's take these logs, 4, 5, and then we're going to take these right across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to be across the inside, and across the top, and across inside there as well. Okay, great. So now this is going to be, remember, when this generates, this is going to be kind of the ground level here. And so we're going to want a little stairway up, or maybe we'll leave it like that and put some stairs out in front. Let's do that instead. So, okay, we're going to have a little bit of, this will be pretty close to the mushroom thing, but that's all right. We want to have a little bit of a porch here. So we want some slabs, and let's use the oak wood slabs for that. I think that's going to be okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what we want to do is we can either do that, or we can actually put some stairs in. Let's check the stairs. How's that? Not great. It's not great, I'm going to be honest. But you know what? I think that's going to work for what we want to do, which is just to have a little tiny house. And I think, you know what? No, I don't think I want to do that after all. Let's do this. And that. Yeah, so it's just going to be kind of a big flat staircase. That's actually doesn't look like a porch at all. It looks like giant stairs now. Let's leave that alone for just a minute. We're just gonna we know we want a porch, and we want it to wrap around here, and I'm gonna show you why we want that in just a second. Okay, so let's not quite go that far. So we've got a wraparound porch. We're going to figure out how the stairs go, and actually I just figured it out. They're gonna go right there. Boom. Okay, we've got stairs. And if you really wanted to, you could do stairs all along the front, but I'm gonna show you why I'm not gonna do that here in just a minute. And on this corner, we're gonna make it a solid block, and on this corner, we're gonna make it a solid block. So it looks like it's supported. Okay, that's looking a lot better. So we're going to bring these up, and we're going to bring that around, and then we're going to put a door in here. And we're just going to use a regular oak door. Again, this should work on 1.7 or 1.8, and we're actually going to put it in from this side. There we go, little structure. And yeah, okay, so that's all right. I wish I had a little bit more room for some windows here. We're going to have to do something different, because that's looking really flat and ugly. I don't like that at all. We probably need this to be a little bit bigger. But if we don't want to make it bigger, what's another option? We could make the door off-centered. We don't have to have all the doors and everything be even. Let's do that and put a little window right there. Love it. Okay, good. So let's do that window as too tall as well, so it matches with the other windows. And then we're actually going to do some stairs here, but we're going to do these out of the spruce wood. So let's get some spruce wood down here, like that. And Do we want to do them at the top? Let's see. Let's try. Let's put some panes of glass in here and see what it looks like both ways. So if we put some panes of glass in, whoop, let's get rid of, no, wrong. Okay. Let's put them up this way. Whoop, get rid of that guy. Okay, so down here it looks nice. It kind of bevels up. And here it just meets the top and it's flat. What happens if we do stairs, upside down stairs at the top? Does that look better? I think it does. I think it does look better. Yeah, so let's do that. Some stairs. And that means we're just going to take all of these out and put in some stairs. Down here, stairs. And over here, guess what? Stairs. You got it. You guys are so smart. And then across the top, one more. Boom. Okay, so then we need panes. And same thing back here. All right, and in the front, do we want to do some stairs here as well? Let's see. I don't know. That might look a little weird. Whoop, no, that looks very weird. That looks too much. That's too much. Let's go back to this and just do some panes of glass that way. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Again, this isn't going to be a masterpiece. Remember, these are going to spawn in the world randomly if you're using the mod, or you're going to want to build these just as decorations, so they shouldn't be huge, elaborate houses. Let's go ahead and get rid of that, and let's throw some bricks on here. Where would we want to throw some bricks? You know, one thing we could do is we could grab one of these stairs and put it above the door. Yeah, I do like that. And what about this? Do we want it to be a little short window like that? And now, does that make sense? Kind of looks like weird eyes. Nope, I don't like that. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to that design. Yeah, okay. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to line up perfectly. I think that's gonna work. Okay, so we are gonna want some torches in here. I think we're gonna want this to be lit up inside. Otherwise, this is gonna be a monster's house. Let's throw one right over. Oh, I can't throw it over the door because that's a stair. Oh, right. All right. Let's think about inside lighting here in a minute. I could just throw one right there for now, and that actually should light it up enough. So if we go into these corners, block is 5. So you could get monsters spawning in the back, and actually that might be all right. Again, these are ruined houses. Maybe it got taken over by something. Okay, so I did say I was going to talk about the reason why I left the stairs like that. I want to put in some soil, some dirt here, and then I want to till it up and give some room for crops here. So imagine this guy had a nice little garden. There we go. And maybe one of these things here. Yeah, there we go. That had some water in it. Yeah, let's throw that water out. Take that water. Try that again. Water. There we go. And it probably did have a lily pad in there at some point. It doesn't anymore. Let's get us an iron hoe. We're going to till all this soil up. Okay, there we go. That's going pretty nicely. Let's get rid of some of these things. And then we want to just put some seeds in here. Let's get some regular seeds. Maybe he just had a little bit of wheat in one row, and it probably didn't finish, so maybe he's got a couple over there, one back there. And let's do the same thing with some carrots. And we don't want this to just be an instant village as soon as you find it, so we're going to put one randomly there. They kind of generate like that. We don't want it to be perfect. Again, it's supposed to be abandoned, so we're going to get rid of those things. And you know what would be really funny? Let's get one of those dead bushes. Let's get a couple of those. Can we put those on farmland? No, we can't. Can we put them on regular dirt? Experimenting with brick waffle. Perfect. Okay, let's do another one over here by the water. Well, that'd be the last place you'd think that would be dried out, wouldn't it? Okay, so a couple dead bushes. This is obviously not what he intended originally. And let's get some leaves. So let's do oak leaves. And maybe at one point there was some nice shrubbery around the edge here. And man, we are filling up this base plate, aren't we? There we go. So we used to have a nice little hedgerow around here, and then that's gone now. So we probably want to break a few of these blocks and replace them with grass. So let's do a grass. Oh, no, too far. Let's do a grass here, and maybe these two are grass. This corner area is all grass, and then a couple over here have decayed. Okay, that's looking better. And maybe he had a couple of fences out here at one point. And so let's see, try that. Although fences on top of bushes, that looks really dumb. I don't like that at all now that I've done it. Yeah, let's just leave that alone. They're going to leave that alone for now. This is fine. So those things are going to grow, and actually let's have some of them be partially grown. I guess it won't matter. If you're generating these in the world, they'll grow on their own, but you can imagine for now what this would look like with some of the crops partially grown here in different areas. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, so now the fun parts. Let's break a few of these things. So we want to break, let's see, break that. Oh, that's where our torch was. Awesome. Let's get rid of that torch. And this thing here, don't want any floating blocks. Let's get rid of that. And maybe this whole window got broken. There's just a little bit of glass left up there. That part too, yeah, that's looking better. And this side is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. One window broke there. Okay, and inside here, yeah, we're definitely not going to do the glass or the torch inside. We want to break up the floor a little bit as well. So we're going to do a little of that, like that, I think maybe one over that way. And let's do some podzol in here because podzol kind of looks like it's got debris and leaves and stuff in it. And maybe one of the two of those. And let's do a little dirt as well. Yeah, one more of those. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then over here. What do you guys think? So yeah, it used to be really nice, and now it's not. We probably need some structure of a roof that we're then going to ruin as well. So again, we can do stairs or slabs or even bricks. We did talk about bricks earlier. So what would that have looked like if we'd had bricks along the outside? That wouldn't be good at all there. We want to come out from the top, I would think. Yeah, so maybe it used to have... Yeah, that looks pretty decent. So it used to have this nice little roof up here. Maybe we're going to do one more of these. Oops. So had nice little brick area. Does that look... That looks a little strange, actually. You know what? Let's save the bricks for a chimney. Let's do some stairs. Let's just do stone brick stairs. I bet that's going to look all right. That's a kind of brick. It still counts. It's what I said I was going to do. Yep. Okay, and then put that guy up there. Oop, yeah, sure, take that one out. That's what I meant to do. And then we'll start the same thing on the other side. So just in front there, and we're going to have one on top. And this one is going to be pulled back a little bit because it would have been... Now that's not going to make sense because it would be floating. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and this one's going to come across to about there. Probably don't want to have a whole lot left. Now that's looking kind of unsupported. Let's do that so it's still connected to something. And let's do that one so it looks like there might be some kind of structure there. Okay, and then inside, this is usually where you would probably go and do some of these little log supports. And that probably broke at some point there. Maybe that way. Hello, cat. Yeah. Yep. Hi, you're on YouTube. Great. Thanks, cat. Okay, she's going to be mouthy. I apologize for that again. But let's just go ahead and put those out there. That looks like it would have been supported at some point. We are going to have to bring the granite out one more if we ever try to use this in the mods. Whoop, not that. The granite. There we go. And then out this way as well so that it comes and it'll be supported. What will happen, by the way, is this looks up and sees anything above it. So we do need to get all of that as well. That's already covered. That's looking pretty decent. I think it's looking all right. So you find this little ruined farmhouse, and you could fix it up and make it your own place, or you could leave it alone. And maybe he had a couple of things in here too. So furnaces, they're made of stone. They would last for a while. So there's going to be a furnace in here. Maybe he had that right by the door. Bed's probably gone at this point. We're not going to worry about a bed. And let's just have one solitary torch. So if you see these at night out when you're exploring, it's going to look kind of interesting. I don't like it there though. Put it up here. Yeah. One there, and maybe one right there. So it'll be lit up, and that'll help the crops grow as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be good. So we're going to stop right there. I'm going to call that the last one. This is going to be it for today. We have 4 little ruined structures. I really like this. Hopefully you guys like this series. If you do, please hit that like button. It really helps me be encouraged to do more of these videos. And absolutely give me some feedback at the bottom. I really want to know what you guys think about this, what other ideas you have. Little structures. We don't want anything really big. So that you can either build these yourselves as little decorations or let a mod build them for you. That's going to do it for today. As always, I've been Brick Waffle. Thank you for watching.